Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm currently at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. And this is the book that I'll be sharing from, Unleashing Buddhanature, Personal Accounts by Those Touched and Reformed through the Teachings of His Eminence, the 25th Sam Rinpoche. The stories of each student, of how they met with Rinpoche and how Rinpoche has changed their life. So today I'll be continuing from the accounts of Martin Chow, and we'll be on page 93. This is a picture of Martin with Rinpoche. Page 93. Rinpoche did not give up on me, though. He took a lot of time to talk to me. More importantly, he provided an environment in which I could practice Dharma without anxiety. He gave me a job with Kachara and a roof over my head. I never had to go hungry. Rinpoche even provided me with a car that drove like a lawnmower, but nonetheless got me to places. I was kept busy with various projects, including locating and securing the 35 acres land for Kachara Forest Retreat, KFR. I remember the time he asked me to place a Buddha statue in front of an old beautiful tree at KFR. I was worried that the weight of the stone statue will damage the roots of the tree, so I decided to place it 10 feet away. When I showed Rinpoche a picture of my handiwork, he said, "Other people can build the Twin Towers, and you cannot even put a statue by a tree without damaging its roots." That was when it hit me. Rinpoche was not only asking me to think harder to solve the problem, he was giving me the solution. I got some bricks, built 2 short towers in front of the tree, and placed the statue on top of the bricks. Voila! The roots were safe and the statue was in its rightful place. From then on, I realized that Rinpoche never spells out what we should do, but he guides us to figure out the potential that we are capable of. I had none of the luxuries that my old life once offered, but I felt settled and taken care of. Through time, he showed me that I could walk a different path than the one paved with worldly pleasures, and I found myself wanting to. Don't get me wrong, life did not become a bed of roses. In fact, thorns awaited me. For a period of time, Rinpoche would pick on my failures and embarrass me in front of his other students. He would turn to the students I had once dated and ask what she ever saw in this loser. Other times, he would make my jail sentence the butt of his jokes. Insulted, I fought the urge to just stand up, swear at him, and leave for good. But I never did. This is because after the fire, Rinpoche always applied ice, Dharma teachings, to soothe my burnt and wounded self-esteem. One day, as Rinpoche went on yet another tirade against me, my mind started running through all the things he had done. Why would he advise me not to countersue? He could have told me to go ahead, and when I regained all my wealth, I could have made a handsome donation to Kachara. Instead, he kept me as a nobody and took care of all my needs. I stared at my guru's face, and for the first time, none of his hurtful words reached my ears. All I could see was his kindness. Involuntarily, my lips curled up. Rinpoche stopped short and asked me what I was grinning at. I replied, "I'm just very, very happy to be here." It was Rinpoche's turn to smile. From that day on, he never ridiculed me again. What Rinpoche intended, I later learned, was to deflate the oversized ego that I had dragged along from my old life. Secretly, I still yearned to be seen as the smart, successful entrepreneur that I once was. However, spirituality cannot take root in a soul stiffed with pride. This is not a concept unique to Buddhism. Christianity teaches it as well. When Jesus said, Blessed are the meek, he was essentially telling his followers that only those who can shed their ego will truly be clothed in God's goodness. In another instant, when a wealthy man asked Jesus how he can enter heaven, Jesus replied with his now famous line, "It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God." Wealth itself isn't bad, but clinging to it gets us stuck at the eye of the needle that opens to spirituality. With my punctured ego, I could finally let go of my past achievements and surrendered myself to the Dharma. By coming to the realization that my Lama's verbal assaults towards me were for my benefit, I also learned to make sense of the hidden meaning behind others' actions or speech. We are often blind to people's suffering, so when they do hurtful things, we rage against them. Rinpoche, however, trained me to see past what people do on the surface. I may discover that their actions actually stem from pain, bitterness, or fear. This allows me to be compassionate to all, even those who have wronged me. But at the end of the day, it boils down to what we choose to focus on. Through Rinpoche's training, I realized that we can actually choose not to respond to whatever confronts us, be it sabotage from other people or even biological limitations like exhaustion or hunger. We just have to take our mind away from it. This is something our Lama shows by example. As his students, we are all used to Rinpoche's lengthy meetings. Sometimes these meetings would go on for 18 hours straight. In the early days, I thought, what kind of a lunatic keeps people in meetings for practically a whole day? But eventually, I understood that some higher practices of Buddhism require one to be absolutely focused in lengthy meditation to achieve certain attainments. Rinpoche's meetings are to prepare our minds to stay alert for an extended period of time. Understandably, some of us would be dozing off at these meetings, yet the most exhausted of us all is actually Rinpoche, who has to conduct those sessions. Even so, he simply chooses to take his attention away from his tiredness and body aches because training our minds is more important to him than his own rest. Hence, we strive to control our focus as well. It turns out that the tiredness, a lot of the time, is all in my head. It is a habit for me to sleep and eat at certain hours of the day. Habituation reinforces limitation. But think back on the time you may have forgotten to eat or delayed sleep to finish a particular urgent task. It was not the end of the world. We do need our rest and replenishment, but we are also more flexible than we think. Rinpoche, in other words, trained us to recognize priorities that supersede our habits. Rinpoche unconventional methods do not always sit well with his students. Many have abandoned their training and left Kachara. Some are even bad-mouthing Rinpoche. Ironically, I went through the same training as they did, and I found myself the better for it. To me, our guru can only do his part in training us. It is up to us to strengthen our minds to accept those trainings. Meditation, daily prayers, and visualizations are essential to keep us going. It is quite like getting a personal trainer at the gym. Your trainer will design a workout for you, but you would have to maintain an exercise regime to improve your fitness level. The trainer would then increase the challenge of each session based on the assumption that you have done your part in raising your game. If you have neglected your daily regime, can you blame the personal trainer for being too cruel and unreasonable for making the sessions more challenging? I suppose why I stuck with my training, even though it meant a painful overhaul of character, was because I was honest with myself. I thought I was smart, but I knew nothing. My belief of what measured a person's value was all hogwash. When I helped Rinpoche to write his websites and received readers' comments saying how my writing has benefited their lives, my heart was filled with joy. I never knew a poor man could feel that rich. Most importantly, I haven't touched my antidepressant for years. Rinpoche was right when he first learned that I was seeing a psychiatrist. He told me I was not depressed, just selfish. A disclaimer: Rinpoche's words may not be applicable to everyone diagnosed with depression, but it applied to me. Depression was my crutch, my excuse for being nasty to people, and my ticket to be treated with gentleness and leniency. Once Rinpoche began to pile tasks and trainings on me, I didn't even have time to pity myself. In short, I simply forgot I had depression. The greatest gift my guru gave me is teaching me how to love myself without all the superficial impermanent trappings. I am 50 years old with very little in the bank. I drive a car that my old self would not have been seen dead in. I have no mansion, no pretty ladies surrounding me. I'm okay with this. I no longer need these things. I now have something even more precious, my Lama and his teachings. And that was the sharing by Martin. So as you join me in all the student sharing, you'll find out all the different methods that Rinpoche applies, for each student. And as you will learn, how they discover what really is the crux of their problems that they are able to overcome and be the better person. So thank you for sharing your time with me, and please join me when I move on to another student's sharing. And here we'll complete this with a completion dedication in English. May the precious body-mind where it is not born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. May the precious emptiness where it is not born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. May this merit accumulated by myself and others beneficially serve all sentient beings and the Buddha Dharma, and especially may the essential teachings of the unerring Master Tsongkhapa become clear and enduring. In all my rebirths may I not be parted from perfect gurus. Let me enjoy the abundance of the Dharma, perfecting the quality stages and paths. May I quickly attain the rank of Vajradhara Buddha. By this virtue, may I quickly realize Guru Buddhahood and transfer each sentient being into that enlightened state. May all conducive conditions arise and all obstacles be pacified in order to increase infinitely the doctrine of the spiritual king Tsongkhapa. By the merits of the 3 times of myself and others, may the doctrine of Lama Tsongkhapa blaze forever. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the 3 jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the paths of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. May the holy teachers have long lives. May the enlightened activities be fully displayed in the 10 directions. And may the brightness of the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa continuously dissipate the veil of darkness covering the beings of the 3 realms. In this land encircled by snow mountains, source of every benefit and joy. May Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in this life until samsara's end. Whom grant me here and now appropriate attainments without exception. Grant increase of the entourage, teachings, and wealth, O mighty Shukden. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and please do join me when I share from a new student's account on how he was benefited by Rinpoche's training.